Today we're talking pre-screening, what it means to you and how we can help you with your cards. Welcome back to Sports Cards with Joe
and Doug.
And Doug, today we are talking screening, and I'm not talking the kind you buy at Home Depot.
Well, I'm glad, Joe, because I don't know much about that.
Nor do I. So if you ask me where Home Depot is, I have to ask my wife, because it's not where I hang out much, but we do get things there occasionally. But we're talking card screening today. So this is a service we rolled out about 4 years ago. We've really taken it to another level lately, Doug. And it's really you and our team because there is such a need for this in the industry. And it's one of the biggest differentiators between us and most other group submitters. Because there are other group submitters out there, but most of them, some of them have even gone on camera and said, we will never offer that service because it's too much work. Literally, one of the biggest group submitters out there said that they would not do that. They're like, no, it's too much work. So we know it's a ton of work. We know it's a highly involved, intense process with a lot of logistics involved to keep up with everything. But that's what we do and what we do well. And so today, for our viewers who aren't familiar with it, I want to reiterate some of the major points. Some have heard before, some haven't. But we've kind of split out into multiple levels of pre-screening now, because some just want to pass-fail, just know, does this card qualify? And others want more details. And you're the ones who's marking most of these, so nearly all of them. So why don't you fill in some of that information?
I will be happy to.
Yeah.
I love doing what I do, so it's easy to talk about it. We offer no screening, which means you can send us your cards in top loads, semi-rigids. You can send them however you want. Get them here safely, and we'll prepare them for a PSA submission, putting them in the proper sleeves and getting them ready to be sent off to PSA. That we do. If you don't want any screening, that costs $0. For $2, we offer pass-fail screening, which means I take time in the right lighting, with the right amount of eyes on, and I look very carefully at each one of your cards. I do the same thing for $2 and $4, but on the $2 cards, if I notice a scratch on the card, I immediately am done, because that PSA is going to knock that down to about an 8 immediately. I don't have to look at the rest of the card. So that is a fail. On the $4 level, not only do you get the same type of handling of the cards, but you also get to know where the imperfections are, where the flaws are in the cards. I will mark it. I will usually write on it. A lot of times
on the sleeve.
Not on the card itself, but on the top load or on the semi-rigid.
Yeah.
Very clear about that. Most people haven't analyze the back of the card quite as much, so I find a lot of flaws on the backs of the cards, but I look at both sides of the cards. I also want to tell Joe that I do clean cards, and I know he's about to whack me upside the head for saying that, but I dry clean cards.
Right.
I have never, ever used any liquids, any ointments. I don't use my breath on cards. I never get liquid. I don't even bring drinks into my office, my screening area, because liquids and cards don't go
mix
together.
No.
But I do clean them. Mainly I use microfiber cloth, clean microfiber cloth. I also wipe down fingerprints for $2. For $4, I do the same thing. I do the same thing for $2 and $4, but if you're inclined to perhaps push back a card that I've suggested might not be worthy of grading, you might want the detailed, the $4 screening, so that you can see what I see. And if there's one of those ball peen dings in the prism card that I see pretty regularly, I mark that and I put ding and I put it's going to probably be about a 6. And then you can decide, yeah, I'm not gonna grade that one. But if I see a scratch and it's a rookie Patrick Mahomes card and I give you an estimate of an 8 and you go, look, I'm going to roll the dice. His estimate is an 8. Maybe it's a 9, maybe it's a 7, but he thinks it's going to be about an 8, but I want to send that one in for grading anyway. I choose to send that one in. Any of the cards that we have decided not to grade, we recommend not grading, you're more than welcome to have us grade those cards. We're just trying to provide you with as much information as we can so that you can make the best decision about your own cards.
Yeah, and another part of the service is, whether it's the $2 or $4 version, is we do let you know, you send in 100 cards and 30 of them fail. We send you an image of everything that did not get approved, and then especially on the $4 servers, you'll actually see the grading notes on there, and you can say, oh, it's only a light scratch. Yeah, let's go ahead and send that Otani rookie and whatever XYZ card. And so because of the volume we process, we had to split out the service. It's been this way for months now, but to help our viewers understand, we have some that just want that quick, yeah, pass it, fail. They already know what our standards are. They know that they can trust the grading standards we follow. Therefore, they're just like, pass it or fail it, pass it or fail it, pass it or fail it. But some, especially who have higher dollar cards or more borderline cards, they might want to know, hey, let me know exactly what we think it might land at, or what are the exact issues. And then more of those push back and say, well, you know what, if that's the issue, let's just go ahead and do it. And so, which we're fine with. So we always say we are not here to rule out your cards or rule in your cards. Yes, if they pass our screening, they're ruled in. But as far as stuff with an issue, you have the final say on that. We've literally had collectors where you had a pile of cards you rejected, and they'd say, you know what, just grade them all anyway. And that's okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. This is the best way for me to check my work, honestly. If I reject 5 cards out of 20 and the customer doesn't grade them, then I really don't know for sure. I only can tell on the 15 that have come back that they're all 9s and 10s and I did a good job. But we definitely have people that will push back 1 card or all the cards, and I have no problem with that. Sometimes I think people think if we've screened them and we recommend not grading them, that they don't want to push them back. They may offend us for some reason. That is not the case at all. We want to grade as many as possible. I'm actually in quite a conundrum to where I want to grade as many cards as possible, so Joe's happy with how many cards we're grading, but the more that I grade that get a low grade, then the less people want to grade with us. So there's a fine line between approving cards and not approving cards. And I can tell you,
I'd rather you never approve a card than us approve
absolutely,
something.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know how many we kick back per month, but it's thousands.
Absolutely.
It's thousands a month.
Honestly, it's at least 50%.
And that's money we're leaving on the table. Yeah,
at least 50%.
Because we want, as I tell our team, every card we reject, there'll be another one out there that you'll probably want to submit later. And you're happy that we saved you money on that one. So, we don't stress, we don't have quotas of how many cards we're supposed to try to submit. Every single order is treated the same way. If it makes sense to grade it, we pass it. If it doesn't make sense, we don't. And so we treat, like we like to say, we treat your cards just like they're our own, because we screen our own cards. We pass and fail. I have a pile sitting on my desk of cards that Doug rejected. That when I didn't have time to screen, he handled them for us. So, but let's talk though. You talked about 9s and 10s, but however, we get a lot of vintage cards where they want screening also, and so we want to be very clear. We have a whole different set of standards when you're talking cards from like late 70s and older, because first of all, a 73 Clementi and a 6, that's still worth grading. A 7, we actually had a collector just get back a 71 Clementi and an 8, which is like an $1,800 card that we screened, and it got an 8, huge card. But the bottom line is, when you get into that vintage stuff, it's a whole different standard, because we often can allow, the bigger the name, the more you can allow for. Like take
For sure,
Mickey
absolutely.
Mantle. We hardly ever reject a Mickey Mantle.
Because just about every mantle, even in a 1, is going to be worth more than the grading fee.
Yeah, yeah, significantly, usually.
Absolutely.
And because there are so many fake mantles from every year, we've seen so many different years of mantles counterfeited, it's important to get those in a slab. And so mantles, of course, the most extreme example in vintage, but a lot of your big name Hall of Famers, more and more, even their early 70s cards, Aaron Clemente, Mays, Koufax back in the 60s, those guys, your Rose cards, bench, those guys, even in a lot of those in like 6 or better, they're still worth submitting. And so the bigger the name, the lower the threshold we allow for. And so you get that expertise when you submit with us. It's not just about condition screening, it's also about value screening.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at a 72 Clemente, and I'm estimating the grade, but then I'm also going in, checking out comps and seeing if a 4 is going to be worth grading it or not. So Joe summed it up pretty succinctly just a minute ago, saying that we treat your cards like our cards. We do what we would do if they were ours, and with the objective of making money after it's graded, and that counts into the grading fee. So most of the times we're shooting for the $30 to $40 range, because if you're
putting half that into
if you're counting on a $20 card making money, we're not really going to approve too many of those.
No. So, but we do it. Just we want our viewers we want you to understand there are definitely different standards on the vintage. We're not shooting for 9s and 10s there. We'd love to see it, but that's a rarity. But we look at the cards for value and condition to help decide the merit of that card, whether it's worth grading or not. So, again,
I highly recommend using our screening, even if you know you're going to submit every one of your cards. I can't tell you, Joe, 4 out of every 5 modern cards that I screen, I clean. I get rid of fingerprints. I guarantee you I've improved grades. Our average grade per card is higher because I've screened so many cards and I've cleaned them up. I can show examples. Hopefully they may post a couple. I know I've taken pictures. It's really hard to get some of the flaws on it, and then what it looks like after I'm done with it. But even if you want all cards sent, pay the $2. Let me handle them with kid gloves, cleaning them up, making them. It's kind of like when you take your car to an auto detailer. You're like, I wash my car every week, and it doesn't look like this when I wash it. That's because I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for a long time, and I love doing it, and it really, I help you. I encourage you, at least the $2. $4 gives you more information. If you want to learn, try to do your own screening, try to be better at your own screening, get the detailed information on the cards. That way you can pull it out and you can see where I've marked the holder, and you can see the flaws that I see that I know PSA is not going to be happy with.
Yeah. So lots of stuff going on with screening.
I know I can talk a long time about screening.
Yeah,
I know we're going long here because nobody's watching right now, Joe.
That's right.
It's just you and me.
But there's so much going on behind the scenes, and we try to give you a little sneak peek of that to help you understand the great details we go to try and take good care of your card. So if you need help with grading, if you need help with getting your card screened, if you need help with consignment, all of the above, those are all the services we offer. We've been doing it for decades. We've been doing the grading since '98 with PSA and SGC, and we've been offering the pre-screening for 4 years now. So great services. We hope to see you at upcoming events. We will be taking cards on site. We will be at the major shows coming up, specifically the biggest, the National and the New York City Fan Fest. And we will also be at the big regional shows like the Nashville show. So we hope to see you all at some of these upcoming shows. You can drop your cards off there, drop off your consignments, and talk to our team, see how we can assist you. So thanks for tuning in today. See you next time. Signing off for Joe
and Doug.